Hey guys, welcome to the Liberal Hive Mind, a channel solely focused on exposing the abundant hypocrisy of the left. Oh, well that's real interesting. I personally wasn't aware that Ukraine was the 51st state of the United States of America, but apparently that's the case. And apparently all this happened without the American people even knowing, without Congress voting on it, without any official, legal, democratic process whatsoever. It just kinda is. You know, it is what it is. People are hungry, people are starving, bridges are collapsing, environmental disasters, drug-infested communities, crime, national security threats. Big deal. Who cares? The Ukrainians need more money. Quick, sign the check. Quick, mobilize American taxpayer dollars and send it straight to the Ukrainians. They seem to be priority number one, number uno, and Americans, of course, American citizens actually paying taxes into the system, continue to be ignored and forgotten. Let me show you guys exactly what I mean by that. Joe Biden just said one of the most ridiculous things I think I've ever heard in my life. We got some stuff to get into, so let's roll the tape. All right, folks, I don't think this needs too much context, just take a look at this.
And to deliver much needed humanitarian assistance as well as food, water, medicine, shelter, and other aid to Ukrainians displaced by Russia's war, and provide aid for those seeking refuge in other countries from Ukraine. It's also going to help schools and hospitals open. It's going to allow pensions and social support to be paid to the Ukrainian people so they have something in their pocket. It's also going to provide critical resources to address food shortages around the globe.
Yep, you heard it. American taxpayer dollars are now going to pay government pensions and social support programs for Ukrainians. Holy frickin' moly. What an outrage. You know, and this really shouldn't just be an outrage to Republican voters. You know those leftoids who are constantly begging for more money and more social programs and free this and free that and free money in my pocket. The same dopes who continue to get conned and scammed by these Democrats who have no intention of actually delivering on any of the social programs they promised before getting elected. For them, it tends to be real difficult to actually get these social programs put in place. But hey, funding social programs and pensions in Ukraine, not an issue at all. Give me the check and I'll sign it. Propose the legislation, propose the spending, and the uniparty establishment is going to sign and sign away without even looking at the bill, just put it in the bag. A limitless credit card. Ukrainian Aid shopping addicts with a limitless credit card. How absurd is that? I'd be pissed if I was a leftoid, but you should be even more pissed if you're a tax-paying citizen. You know, funding pension programs are supposed to be reserved for tax-paying Americans. Now we're learning that taxpayer dollars are being spent on pension programs for Ukrainian government workers and just general social programs for Ukrainian citizens. This is what I meant in the intro by saying, well, apparently Ukraine is the 51st state of the United States of America, except they got a real cushy deal. They get all the benefits, pensions, social programs, billions upon billions of dollars in aid, well over $100 billion so far in military aid and extra aid on top of that, without paying a single dime in taxes to the federal government. Holy frickin' moly. Oh, poor you, your retirement savings are being depleted. Your 401k is crashing. Housing is becoming completely unaffordable, groceries as well. Well, government's here to help. Let's print more money and send it to Ukraine. These uniparty politicians just don't care about you. That's the simple fact of the matter. I mean, let's prove that claim and let's really put it into perspective here. Look at what's currently going on in East Palestine, Ohio. We're talking about a massive environmental disaster, and this is the type of crap that the Biden administration is saying.
Look, rail safety is something that has evolved a lot over the years, but there's clearly more that needs to be done because while this horrible situation has gotten a particularly high amount of attention, there are roughly 1,000 cases a year of a train derailing.
Oh, well, it's not a big deal. There's roughly 1,000 cases of this kind of stuff a year. Let's further put it into perspective by contrasting these two headlines. New Ukraine package takes U.S. war zone aid to $100 billion. Biden administration turns down Ohio's request for disaster assistance after toxic derailment. Now, of course, they've since reversed on that decision, but that's a real headline. That's not fake news. They did initially reject a request for FEMA aid. Let's talk about real priorities here. Again, let's add and start packing some good perspective. Here's what's going on in East Palestine.
So once again, would you move? As I'm going to throw another rock right here. Would you stay here? Would you drink that water? Would you be affiliated with this? Would you bathe your kids when it's bubbling up and looking like an oil slick?
Wow.
Look at all that.
Look at it.
It's all in the bottom of the creek bed.
Watch this. Just see that chemical pop out of the creek. This is disgusting. And the fact that we have not cleaned up the train crash, the fact that these chemicals are still seeping in the ground is an insult to the people who live in East Palestine. Do not forget these people. We got to keep applying pressure. That's how we're going to fix this problem. Thank you.
We're also getting reports from individuals like Benny Johnson reporting in the area telling us that they're getting rashes and irritation on their skin, burning sensations on their face and in their mouth, a sore throat, because the air quality has gotten so contaminated, it's become so toxic that merely existing there seems to have negative health consequences. Those are real problems that actual American citizens are currently facing, and honestly, that's one problem of the many of the plethora of issues and crises that Americans face on a daily basis. And of course, as we know, many of these issues have become exponentially worse under the non-existent leadership of the Brandon regime. It seems nearly impossible to get the Biden administration or the uniparty establishment to tackle any domestic issue effectively, whether it comes to the monetary policy issue that's driving Americans into poverty, the border crisis, the crime crisis, the drug crisis, the cartel crisis, gang-infested neighborhoods, the police crisis. It's nearly impossible to get any concrete action on any of that. It's extremely hard to get a real concrete plan and allocate spending to get the job done. Building a border wall, no, that'd be racist. The price tag for Donald Trump's border wall was supposedly $8 to $12 billion in planning. There's some reports that are claiming that it could cost up to $21.6 billion. I think that might be a little bit of a stretch. But anyways, let's say $20 billion to solve an actual systemic crisis at the southern border. A Democrat systemic crisis of human smuggling and illegal migration, human suffering and American streets being inundated with contaminated illegal substances. No, of course you can't get funding for that. You can't get funding for common sense policy, a common sense project that would save people's lives, significantly reduce human trafficking, and protect American citizens and American sovereignty. No, of course not. But over $100 billion to protect the Ukrainian border, to launder money and continue to enrich Eastern European oligarchs, no problem there. And now even going further, paying for social programs in Ukraine and paying for government pensions. It's unjustifiable. This government, the Uniparty, establishment Republicans alongside with establishment Democrats, and of course the progressive Democrats who will literally just go along with anything, it seems, as long as it's the current trend, the current thing, or as long as it involves wasting taxpayer dollars. They don't give a damn about the challenges and grievances that American citizens face. And they show it to you with their actions. Their words say one thing, their actions tell a very different story. They don't care, and they will continue to waste money on a bunch of globalist cabal nonsense as they ignore actual suffering within the United States borders. It's yet again another slap in the face from Washington, and people really wonder why Donald Trump is so popular. People really wonder why Donald Trump won in 2016 in such a monumental landslide. It's back to the politics of old, the status quo of old, selling out the American people to the benefit of everybody else. Going from America first to America last, or America first to Ukraine and the globalist New World Order as the first priority. That's what I got for you guys though. Hopefully you enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure to leave a like and possibly subscribe to the channel. Thanks for watching, friends, and hopefully I'll see you on the next one.